Hey, and welcome to M365, making your favorite apps even better. I hope you're having a fabulous day here at Stone Ridge Connect. Thank you for joining me. So today I am going to do a quick introduction and then take on a persona of a program manager at a nonprofit food bank. And I'm going to walk us through different Microsoft apps, Forms, Excel, PowerPoint, even Copilot Chat and Copilot Studio and Teams. And we're going to pretend that we work for a nonprofit food bank and have to work through our day to get things done. So we're going to see how Copilot for M365 can help us to make that day more efficient. So first of all, I am Tracy Ottenstroer, and I am a Senior Client Success Manager here at Stone Ridge. I've been here for about 3 years. I'm also the Copilot Program Manager. And I am 100% Copilot obsessed. So I have had fun, along with many people here at Stone Ridge, digging into the different things that we can do with Copilot. So let's go ahead and get started. Here I am in Microsoft Forms. So I would like to create a volunteer sign-up sheet because for our food bank, we need to have volunteers. So I'm going to go ahead and plug in a prompt, design a volunteer sign-up form to capture the skills. I'm telling it that we work in the Seattle-based area, and it's called Allure Bays. So now, based on that information, it is creating a volunteer sign-up form. And there we go. I've got information that we are going to be collecting with our skills and information. I would like to keep that, but I'm going to change number 4 a little bit. So I'm going to have make number 4 multiple choice. So let's generate that. Now that's location, so it will be interesting to see how it makes location multiple choice. But remember, we told it where we were located, so it's picking some areas in the that we might want to consider for the food bank, and again, it's smart, so it can do that for us. So I like this button here. Copilot has suggestions to improve your form. This, with one click of a button, will reformat your entire form to make it more engaging and exciting to utilize. It depends on the day or like when I click on it as to what it comes up with. Sometimes it comes with a park, or in this case, it came up with some different people. But now it looks more engaging. So let's go ahead and collect those responses. We're going to say anyone can respond, shorten that URL, copy that link, and get that sent out so we can get some volunteers at our food bank. All right, let's go into Microsoft Excel. So here I have the Copilot banner column open already, and I've got this massive spreadsheet with data about neighborhoods in the Seattle area. So it's got every kind of statistic that we would ever want to know about the neighborhoods in this area, and I don't even know where to begin to start analyzing it to determine where to place a food bank. So I'm going to click Show a Suggestion for a Formula column. And it's going to comb through all of this data, understand what it's looking at, and suggest something that I might want to use as an analysis of this data. So it's saying population density. And I like that. I think that would be a helpful analysis in our location determination. And so I'm going to go ahead and add that as a column, and it added it as a column right at the end here. So that's pretty fascinating. But now I would also like to know percentage of the population that's below the poverty line in each of these neighborhoods. So I just added that prompt, and now it's thinking about that and like figuring out how to create the formula. I don't need to know how to make the formulas in Excel, but Copilot sure does. And so it came up with this formula right here and the formula. And so now you can see that I have 2 new well thought out analysis pieces in my spreadsheet. Okay, let's do a little bit more deeper dive into this detail. So I'm asking it to show me insights about the population below the poverty line with less than a high school education and no vehicle available by neighborhood. So it's taking multiple columns and analyzing it together. I don't know about you, but this would take me a long time to figure out how to create the pivot chart to make this happen. And without any blink of an eye, it just created that for me. And I can add it to a spreadsheet. I could also take this extra insight wording and just add it to my spreadsheet. And it's done. And now I have an analysis that I think I can use to make an informed decision of where to put my food bank. But now I have to move on because the board of directors is waiting for me to give them a presentation on our upcoming fundraiser event. Okay, so here I am in PowerPoint. I've started my presentation using Copilot, and I need to make this look nicer because literally I am meeting with the board of directors. Okay, so this is too generic of a picture on slide 2. So I would like to add a picture of Seattle to this slide. So my prompt is add a picture of Seattle in daytime to slide 2. And it's going to think through that and come up with options. And I'm going to pick one, and let's see, I'm going to pick that one and hit insert. Now, when it inserts the picture, it just kind of puts it anywhere. If you've never used the designer button in PowerPoint, I highly recommend it. You click on it and it'll come up with various ideas for how you can format your PowerPoint. If you've ever had PowerPoint envy and you wonder how people can create so fast and so nicely these PowerPoint presentations, that's how they do it. Go to designer, and it uses Copilot now to come up with some very nice slides. So one other thing that I would like us to do to get ready for this presentation. So here it says that there are safety guidelines that need to be followed for this event. So I'm going to ask Copilot, what safety guidelines should be followed to get ready for this fundraising event? And it's going to think through safety guidelines. It might not find those in this PowerPoint presentation, but it's going to go out on the web, maybe even find some documentation that we have in our company and come up with these information. So from our document, from our company, from the web, it's coming up with all sorts of really good information. But I can't put all of that wording on a slide. And so my next prompt is going to be add a slide summarizing the safety guidelines. And what it's going to do is take all that information and create a summary and a new slide that I can present to the board. That looks pretty nice with a summary of the different safety guidelines that we need to follow. I think this presentation is starting to look good, so I'm going to move on. I need to create, we're getting closer now to opening up our food bank, and I need to create the volunteer schedule. You know, that can be daunting. Any industry deals, lots of industries, I should say, deal with volunteer or with scheduling. Okay, so I've got a volunteer schedule here with X meaning this volunteer is not available, D meaning they are available for the day shift, and N meaning they are available for the night shift. But I would like to schedule that. And I have a very specific way that I need to schedule. So I'm going into Microsoft Copilot Chat, and I'm going to go to My Prompts. I happen to have saved one. This says, please create a volunteer schedule based on that spreadsheet. And the schedule should include a 4-week schedule using all the volunteers at least 3 times, honoring their availability, day shift, night shift. These are the times, 3 volunteers per shift. So it's a very specific prompt. And just like that, I have a 4-week schedule honoring all of the qualifications that I have, that I listed out. So I could repeat this every 4 weeks and update that spreadsheet with the new availability and the new volunteers that we have coming into our food bank. And it can be done just like that. I can copy this, paste it into wherever I need to send it out into the world and have people ready to volunteer. The other thing I could do is go into Copilot Studio and make this an automated thing. So I might want to take that volunteer availability spreadsheet and put it into a certain SharePoint site. Every time it happens to do that, it triggers this agent to create the schedule. Or I might send an email, and every time I get an email with the availability, the schedule is created and I get an email back with what that looks like. So here in Copilot Studio, I started an agent, build a schedule, and I put my prompt in. And if I start to like just test my prompt, it has all the information that it needs to do that. And we'll just see if it's going to work. But you can see that you can work with Copilot Studio and agents to make things more automated, and you pick what those things look like and what's valuable to you. And it looks like when I plug in that information that it's actually going to work. So I'll be able to create that agent really quickly for myself. One thing you should know about agents is that they do have a cost to them. So I put together a 2-page document, fact sheet, if you will, that kind of explains the latest and greatest on agent costs. If you would like a copy of this, at the end of my presentation, I will give you a Microsoft form that you can complete, and I'll send you an email with this presentation, or with the, with the fact sheet. Okay, now I want to go into Microsoft Teams. So here I'm in a Microsoft demo environment, and I want to go into this fictitious meeting, and I am going to look at what recap is. So everybody in your Microsoft Teams, if you're in a meeting, you have this new recap button. And if you have Copilot for M365, there is some crazy cool new features available to you. You have the Copilot license. So within recap, you can look at speakers, what the topics were that were discussed in the meeting, what the chapters of the meeting ended up being. This is all AI generated. If you missed a meeting, you can go back very quickly and get the information that you need. You can also see when you were mentioned. So anytime you were mentioned, it can document what was said about you, and then you could go into the transcript and look even closer to see what they were saying, and then you could follow up a little bit easier. You also can click on the Copilot button and ask it questions. So we're going to go to recap the meeting and see what it had to do with. So this meeting that I missed had to do with marketing, transportation, everything having to do with that volunteer training event, it looks like, that I needed to do. But I need to ask it some more questions. So recap what Mario talked about, because Mario is somebody that I need to pay attention to. So he talked about the logistics and the setup of the event. That's really helpful. Summarize the discussion about parking and transportation. So another thing that I might need to know about in my program management role. And you can see here that the discussion about parking and transportation and who talked about it and what they talked about. Let's ask one more thing. Create a table with action items for each person. That would be super helpful, because maybe I have a to-do coming out of the meeting that I did not attend. And here we go. I have a action item table. I could copy and paste that into an email and send that recap out along with the to-do list of what's going on. People that went to the meeting might not have even caught on to all of these things. So that's the beauty of Copilot for M365 in Teams. So before I close, I am just going to bring up that last slide. So for your free copy of that Licensing Copilot Agents 2-pager that I showed earlier, you can take a picture of this QR code, and I will be happy to send that off to you for free. If you have any questions, the Stoneridge team is here and very excited to talk more about Copilot for M365 with you. Have a great day, and we'll see you on another session.